Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Bobby Valentine Sports Show. I'm your host, Frank Rampin, alongside Sal Grinstead. How you doing today, Sal?
Yeah, doing great, man. I don't know why I'm still wearing these Dolphin steel colors, man. It tears you apart. Tears you apart.
Yeah, tough so far. Tough go so far for the Finns. It's only a matter of time till Mike McDaniel, right? We're just kind of waiting.
Hire my boy Gruden.
Yeah. Hey. All right, let's dive into Week 6 action. Starting on Thursday night, Philadelphia Eagles traveled to East Rutherford, New Jersey to play the New York Giants. Trying to get a get-right-back game after losing to the Broncos, the Eagles, but that was not the case. Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo took over this game from the jump and never looked back. The Giants dominated this game really the whole time. Eagles offense never woke up. 34-17 Giants, 2 touchdowns apiece for both Dart and Scatterbo. New formidable duo in New York. And when they get Malik Neighbors back next year, whoo.
Dude, what's going on in Philly? They haven't been able to run the ball all year. That was their DNA last year. Now you're relying on Jalen Hurts throwing, who he was never the best thrower of the football. So, you're in a tough spot there. Nick Sirianni's in a tough spot. So you really got to bounce back. But this was kind of a unbelievable win for the Giants. They haven't won a Thursday night football game since Josh Allen was a freshman at Wyoming. Jackson Dart was 12 years old. Kevin Durant was still on the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Oh.
David Ortiz was still playing baseball for the Red Sox. I mean, we're talking like 10, 11 years ago.
Jeez.
So a shocking win for New York. And neither of us saw it coming. We both picked the Eagles here. So
Of course, because we are swinging a cold bat with our picks in the NFL. I went 4-6 this week, Sal. You went 6-4. Not so great, but man, brutal. All right, let's dive into Sunday football action. Starting off with a 9:30 a.m. game that was a crime against humanity. That we put that game in international soil and forced the European people to watch that game of football is a joke. Like, what was that? I don't know why I watched it. Like, it was disgusting. The Jets had negative 10 net passing yards on the game. So obviously their sacks go against their passing yards. 9 sacks. Justin Fields had 42 passing yards. 42 passing yards. And with the sack yardage, that goes to negative 10 accumulative passing yards throughout the day. just a comical thing to say. And the score, even more comedy, 13-11 Broncos.
If I was trying to torture people and get information from them, I would make them watch this Broncos Jets game on repeat because my eyes were tearing up trying to watch this game. It was terrible. One of the worst displays of football I've ever seen. Oh my God.
It was bad. It was really bad, and that's all we're going to say about it. 13-11. The Jets literally just stood there and watched the clock run out in the first half. They had a 4th and 8 to keep the game alive at the end, and Fields took his 9th sack of the game. So just atrocious from the Jets. Just never going to get better, it seems like. But let's just move on. Let's go to the only divisional matchup of Sunday. There was one on Thursday night, obviously Philly, New York, but Sunday there was only one. The Cleveland Browns went into Pittsburgh to play the Steelers. And the Steelers dominated this game. They won 23-9. Rodgers looked good with this offense. They're running a lot of six offensive lineman packages. And they also have Darnell Washington, who's 6'8", 300 pounds. So it's basically 7 offensive linemen on the field for the Steelers. And yeah, they're just bullying you, going right down the field. This looks like the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're controlling the ball, they're running the ball, and they're playing good defense finally. After the first 2 weeks, they were playing terrible on defense. Looks like they finally started to figure it out. 6 sacks, 5 sacks, and 6 sacks in the last 3 games.
Yeah, and they have a really good hold of this division right now. And this was AFC North football to a T. And you ask Aaron Rodgers about it, he's been playing in the North his whole life. He knows what it's about. This is just the other side of the North. So, he's used to it. He says nice, cold, windy game. It's what he's played his whole life over there in Green Bay. So I wouldn't worry about this Pittsburgh team one bit. They're 4-1 now, and DK Metcalf continues to do his thing. Quite the dynamic duo there.
They're the only team over 500 in that division. And now they finally are the favorites to win after Baltimore loses again to go to 1-5. And you just mentioned DK. Sal, doesn't he look so big in a Steelers uniform? I don't know what it is, but that uniform makes him look massive. He's so jacked, he's so fast, and he's so athletic. I don't know how it works.
I'm not going to lie to you. I feel like I saw that in a Seahawks uniform too.
True. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know what it is for me. I guess maybe the black. I don't know. He looks
Dude,
jacked. Look at the tank.
he is a monster. He is a man among kids. It's
Yes, he
really
is.
what it is.
Yes, he is. One of the more thrilling finishes in this 1 o'clock window, Sal. Sorry for your Finns, but the Chargers came back late, kicked a game-winning field goal. Dicker, the kicker, now 14 for 14 on the season as they beat your Finns 29-27. That was a pretty good game, though. I mean, back and forth throughout most of it. The Finns had control of this game. They did. And late in the game, Chargers took the lead, obviously, and then Tua, who we really been waiting to see a moment for him all year long, led a great drive to go down and score a touchdown. Darren Waller's 4th touchdown catch of the year already in just 3 games. Put them up, 30 seconds left, 40 seconds left, and big play. Herbert avoids a sack, throws it to Ladd McConkey. Just back-breaking play there. So,
yeah, I mean, as a Dolphins fan, you kind of feel like, oh, the season's probably over. We're probably going to find a way to be in the playoff hunt at the end of the year and get a terrible draft pick. But it was a fun game to watch. As a Dolphins fan, you're like, oh, this is usual. We were down 26-13 in the fourth quarter, storm all the way back, and then we kicked the ball off to them with 40 seconds left, and he returns it to the 45. You're like, okay. I mean, I'm sure you feel the same way about the Raiders. You feel like everything's just so unlucky, but in reality, we just suck.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we miss a tackle there on Ladd McConkey. He runs for like 40 yards. Just ugly. And then we get the ball back with 6 seconds left. You think maybe hook and ladder, Hail Mary. Tua throws a pick on it. Hook and ladder. I mean, they're not even rushing the passer. They drop 11 guys back. And I'm pretty sure all 11 were covering the guy he tried to pass to. That was so ugly. His 3rd interception of the game. Oh, man.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. I think that was the first time I've ever seen that happen.
There was one guy playing coverage right there.
Yeah, that was
he threw it straight to Derwin James. I mean, what are you doing, dude?
I have no words for that. I've never seen that before in my life. That was insane. Let's stay in the AFC East right now. And the new leaders of the AFC East, the New England Patriots. They beat the New Orleans Saints this weekend, 25-19. Another great game from Drake May. He looked unbelievable. And I seen a lot of thing online about how this was the worst officiated game in the history of football. I've seen a lot about that. I saw that crazy penalty they called on Stephon Diggs for running his route. But very weird and very ironic that Patriots fans are complaining about a poorly officiated game.
I know that.
Like we didn't watch it for 20 years, you know?
That's a soft spot, huh? The tuck rule?
I mean, not just the tuck rule, dude. The tuck rule is the worst. The tuck rule is the worst call in the history of sports, period. Don't let me get into that. But we saw the Patriots for 20 years. You know, that Jesse James play, remember that against the Steelers? That was a catch. Yeah. I don't know. Looks like the referees are right back on the side of the Patriots, apparently. That's what some people are saying. But this was just a poorly officiated game throughout. But Drake May looked unbelievable, and he led them in rushing. They have not run the ball well. Drake May's been more or less their leading rusher in a lot of these games. But after last night and the Bills losing to Atlanta, the Patriots are back in first place now. They got a great head coach again, and they got a great quarterback again. What else is new?
This was a terribly officiated game. They took back a 62-yard touchdown to Demario Douglas. They called offensive PI on Stephon Diggs, who I mean, that had to have been one of the worst calls I've ever seen in my life. I'm still trying to figure out what happened. And then it seemed like the next 3 penalties they threw were, to cover up for what they just missed on the touchdown. So, they call like 2 or 3 DPIs on the Saints to, make up for what they missed on the Stephon Diggs play. It was, it's like watching a baseball game where the umpire misses a few strikes, so he calls a strikeout ball at your head. I mean, we saw it our whole life in college baseball. So it terribly officiated. Drake May played great, and Rattler's been looking pretty good. It's just not a great team around him. But they gave it another bid late. They always do.
Yeah, they've been hanging around all year. A lot better than last year. We can say that. Let's keep going through the 1 o'clock window. The Los Angeles Rams headed to Baltimore to play the Lamar Jackson-less Ravens, and the Ravens continue to struggle both offensively and defensively. I guess the defense looked a little bit better. Like they were the last ranked unit in the league, and they only gave up 17 points in this game to a good team. But they scored 3 points, and Derrick Henry got stuffed at the 1 yard line on a 4th and goal. It's just ugly in Baltimore right now. 1-5 matches the worst record to start a season in franchise history.
Yeah, this was a terrible game to watch. It was 3-3 at halftime. Puka got hurt. So, I mean, there's not much offense from the Rams if they can't throw him the ball. That's all Matt Stafford does, throw the same guy all day. It's great if you have him in fantasy, but, if you're watching the game, it's not all that fun. You're just seeing the same guy catch the ball over and over again. But, yeah, I mean, Derrick Henry actually played a decent game, but I think I want to say he had like 130 rush yards, but couldn't get in the end zone. And he's kind of been struggling this year, along with this entire team.
Yeah, it just doesn't look like the same Ravens team we're used to. Maybe they can figure things out when they get Lamar back after the bye week, but I mean, they're 1-5. There's not a lot of more room for error. Like you're going to have to get on the run here and do it now. Keep going through this window. The Indianapolis Colts improved to 5-1. A little bit of a scare between them and the Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray, foot injury, did not play in this game, and Jacoby Brissett played a pretty solid game. The Colts defense had been one of the better units in the AFC so far throughout the season, and Jacoby Brissett kind of did his way with them, went up and down the field, hung around with this team all day long. The Cardinals were actually winning this game in the fourth quarter, 27-24, until Daniel Jones led the drive down to go up 31-27. The Cardinals had a chance to win this game late, ended late with a sack, but the Cardinals did look a lot better in this game, honestly, after a terrible, terrible collapse last week.
Yeah, they looked a lot better. I mean, this is what career backups do, like Jacoby Brissett. You come in, you fill in, you almost win the ball game, you play good enough to continue to be the backup for a few more years. But
yep.
Yeah, I mean, Colts continue to win. They're 5-1. Indiana Jones, 2 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor just continues to ball, 123 yards, another touchdown. Tyler Warren kind of announced himself today, 63 yards, a touchdown. So, I mean, they just continue to win, and I feel like the Cardinals continue to lose games in some weird ways. 3 in a row now, they've had a chance to win all 3.
And the Indianapolis Colts sitting at the number 1 seed in the AFC right now, 1/3 of the way through the season, which is a crazy thing to think about. And as of today, Sal, all 4 of the leaders in the AFC divisions were either at the bottom last year, not winners from last year. New England's in first place in the East. Pittsburgh's in first place in the North. Indianapolis is in first place in the South. And the Chargers are in first place in the West right now. So all 4 new teams at the top of all the divisions right now. So a chance for a big shakeup in the playoff picture.
It's kind of fun to watch.
It is definitely fun to watch. And this, for me, was probably the best game on paper. I don't know if it was the best game in like actual game played, but game I had on one of my main screens. Seattle at Jacksonville, the only game in the 1:00 window between 2 teams over 500. And man, I'm just continuously impressed by the Seattle Seahawks team. They went into Pittsburgh and won a couple weeks ago, and now they go into Jacksonville and win 20-12. Sam Darnold and Jackson Smith-Njigba are up there with Matt Stafford and Puka for the best connection in football right now. It's unbelievable.
They really are, and they're continuing to just play great football. They won this game by defense, but they've won some games this year by offense. They've won some games by special teams. That's what great teams do. They can beat you in every facet of the ball game. So it's great to watch. I mean, Sam Darnold played a solid day, 295 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Njigba, 162 yards and a touchdown. I mean, the great bright spot that you had for Jacksonville is Brian Thomas finally gets going a little bit, breaks free for a touchdown. So it's nice to see him kind of get going, 90 yards, a touchdown. So, you can certainly build off that. You need him to be at his best if you want to do the things you think this team can possibly do.
That's for sure. And Seattle, I mean, you could make an argument that they look like the best team in the NFL right now. And they're not going to get the love that they deserve because they're all the way up in Seattle, so far away. But hey, what a time to be a Seattle sports fan right now. Seahawks playing great. Mariners 2 games away from their first ever World Series. What a time up there in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, and the Supersonics, the Thunder, they won it for you last year.
And there's a chance that Seattle gets a team back. I think Seattle's going to get an NBA team back in the next couple of years. Keep an eye out for that.
The weird thing is, if they get a team back, the Thunder kind of have to give them back all their rewards. It'd be weird because we took over.
I don't think that's how that works. because it's still the same franchise. Like the Baltimore Colts are now the Indianapolis Colts, and they just took because it's still the same franchise,
Yeah.
It's like if there was because there's no Oakland, right? If there was an expansion Oakland team right now, they would be a new franchise. They wouldn't take the A's stuff
Yeah.
So it's like, it's all to do with like the actual organization. Last game in the 1 o'clock window. This was a great game. Maybe the game of the 1 o'clock slate. Cowboys at Panthers, and Rico Dowdle told them to buckle up, and they didn't listen to him. They didn't buckle it up. He ran for 175 yards in this game, 240 yards in total, and they win that game on a walk-off field goal, 30-27. So the Cowboys tied this game with a field goal with 6 minutes and 20 seconds left. The Panthers ran the clock all the way down and kicked the field goal as time expired. Pretty impressive win for Carolina. They're 3-0 at home, Sal.
I'm pretty sure Chuba Hubbard just lost his starting spot in the last 2 weeks. I mean, Rico had 210 rushing yards last week, 175 this week. These are like unheard of numbers in back-to-back weeks. Over 200 total yards in back-to-back weeks. Led the team in receiving yards and another touchdown. So unbelievable. And I mean, I thought he was great last year in Dallas, but he kind of gave it to him this year. They should have never got rid of him, maybe.
Yeah, looks like they made a mistake getting rid of Rico, and he has made them pay. So now we go into the – oh, sorry. Go ahead, Sal.
I'm also hearing a lot of talks about Dak for MVP right now, which is kind of crazy on a 2-3-1 team, but he's definitely putting up MVP numbers.
I mean, right now it's probably him and Baker, right?
Yeah, but I feel like you got to make the playoff to be the MVP, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's why Burrow didn't win it last year because his numbers were better. That's probably what's going to happen. Let's move into the 4 o'clock slate now with one of the worst football games that you will watch all season long. My Raiders played the Tennessee Titans, and oh my goodness, was it a snooze fest. So it was like beginning of the third quarter, and I looked at the TV and I was like, what is even, like I looked at my phone. I was like, let me just look at the drives that have happened in this game. Let's just go through all the drives. This is how the game started, right? Punt for the Titans. Great 3-and-out by the Raiders defense, juggernaut. 13-play, 48-yard drive for the Raiders. That took 9 minutes. 48-yard drive that took 9 minutes. That ended in a field goal. That's exactly what I said to you last week. And then punt, fumble, punt. I mean, that's just atrocious football. Nobody wanted to win this game. It was the battle of the shit shows. And Tennessee was just a little bit more of a shit show than the Raiders. And that's 2 years out of 3 that losing a game to the Raiders was the final straw that broke the camel's back to fire the head coach. So that just shows you where these two teams are as organizations. And that's all we're going to say to that. The Raiders win 20-10, and it might be their last win of the season. Gino threw his 10th pick, too. Like, we're just despicable.
At least Ashton Jinty looked good, though.
Yeah, so I saw this online, actually. One more thing I got to say. This is it. The Raiders started off the year, right? Gino was pushing the ball down the field. We were using Thornton. We were using Myers. Jack Best was getting a couple catches. We couldn't run the ball for anything. Couldn't run the ball. The pass blocking was solid. The run blocking was atrocious. And we've turned over the ball like crazy. So now, that's how we started the year. Now, we only run the ball. The run blocking looks good. Pass blocking is horrendous. Gino can't throw a pass farther than 10 yards down the field to anybody. Jack Betts, Thornton, I don't even know if he played. This week. And Gino still turned the ball off like crazy. So we just switched our philosophies, all while Gino just continues to throw picks. And the defense actually played pretty good, but we're just bad. Just bad team. Bad organization.
We need to have a week where the Dolphins and Raiders just are on a bye, so we can at least
playing each other this year. I hope they play, dude. Like,
oh my god,
I don't think so though.
I wouldn't wish watching that game on my worst enemy.
Oh, just despicable football. That would be the one game though where Tua probably doesn't throw a pick. Like we're not getting a pick off of him. Like we're trying. All right, let's keep going through the 4 o'clocks. 49ers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield. This was a close game throughout. It was a 1-point game late in the third quarter, and Baker Mayfield decided to put on his Superman cape. 3rd and 14, just broke 4 tackles in the backfield, pump fake 3 times, got the linebacker to get off his feet, even though he's 5 yards past the line of scrimmage. 2 more tackles, laid out for a first down, just Baker doing Baker things. 2 plays later, throws a touchdown to Tez Johnson. They didn't look back from there. Bucks win 30-19, 5-1, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Dude, there's been so many like cool quarterbacks over, history of football. You got Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, all these great guys. None of them are as cool as Baker Mayfield. That guy is so chill, shows up every Sunday, doesn't care what's going on. He just wants to run over your favorite linebacker and let him know while he's doing it. That guy is awesome. How can you ever hate a guy like that?
I think this has got to be the most praise that an Oklahoma guy has ever gotten from Oklahoma State fan in any sense of it. It's got to be record-breaking style.
Dude, I loved him when he was at OU.
I know.
He was in Kansas, grabbing his nuts. I was like, that guy is awesome.
He's a beast, man. You don't want to mess with that guy.
Plants the flag at Ohio State, who I always despise Ohio State. So it was also nice to see that. Man, that guy, he's amazing. He's amazing.
He's awesome. Your MVP favorite quarter or a third of the way through the season. See if that can continue and the Bucs can continue to win. And they didn't have their top 4 wide receivers in this game. 4. Ridiculous. Last game in the 4:00 slate, the Green Bay Packers played the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Flacco finally completes the AFC North gauntlet by starting for the Cincinnati Bengals now. And this is the second time this year that Joe Flacco has played against the Green Bay Packers. I know Packers fans were probably not too happy about that because he went into, or no, it wasn't at Lambeau, it was in Cleveland. But with the Browns, he beat the Packers 13-10. So I'm sure they had that in the back of their minds. But this game was probably closer than a lot of people thought it was going to be too. I think it was like a 14.5 point spread, which is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
The Packers ended up winning 27-18. Jamar Chase had an unbelievable catch in this game, but Packers just a little bit too much. But what do you think about this team, Sal? They start off the year hot, obviously, with Micah, all that. All the headlines were on them. They're the best team in the league. Super Bowl. Hasn't really looked like it since. What do you think about them?
It hasn't really looked great. I mean, all year, their defense has been okay. But as bad as it's looked and as much as you want it to look great, they're still 3-1-1. So it's not terrible. But, I mean, I feel like we're everybody's expecting more. I mean, Josh Jacobs, he's finally started to play really good. Matthew Golden's really coming into his own as a rookie. But, I mean, we've all expected more. Sorry about that.
Don't want to sign him back, huh?
No, coming into this weekend, there was a chance something unheard of that has never happened before happened. It obviously didn't, but if Joe Flacco beat the Packers, it would have been the first time in history a quarterback has beat the same team twice on 2 different teams in the same season.
That would have been insane.
That would have been awesome. So I was kind of hoping for that, and you can ask Mike Tomlin all about it. He is pissed he got traded in division, and I understand why. I mean, you think he's good enough to start your season opener, and then you trade him in division in like week 5. It's crazy.
And you know Mike Tomlin has Joe Cool flashbacks. You know Joe Flacco's won a Super Bowl before. That's the biggest rival, and that's big deal. You don't want to see him ever. I feel like if you're Mike Tomlin, just retire. Please leave the AFC North.
What was he the coach that said keep Anthony Richardson in the game, keep him upright, so Joe Flacco doesn't have to come in?
That's what he said because he knows. Joe Flacco can sling it. Let's go to Sunday Night Football. And Sal, I think I could have told you that this was going to happen a week before. The Chiefs obviously win this game 30-17 against the Detroit Lions. And they had 0 penalties in the game. 0 penalties called on the Chiefs, which is impossible. There is never a game in the history of the NFL that anybody has ever committed no penalties. They're just picking and choosing what they call. And I don't care if I sound like a sore loser right now. It's true.
I would agree. I remember watching a game a few years ago where it was Dolphins-Eagles, and I was watching penalty after penalty, but they didn't call one single penalty on the Eagles. So it really does feel pick and choose, especially with the teams you have to have in the playoff reviews like the Chiefs and the Eagles and the Bills. Anytime they're kind of struggling a little bit, you got to help them out so they get in. You got to see Taylor Swift in the divisional round, dude. You have to.
You have to, man. You'll lose all the Swifties. They won't watch the NFL playoff games. Oh, no.
Oh, dude, it's so ugly. And I don't know if there's a team I hate more than Mahomes and the
I
Chiefs.
know that there's a team I don't hate more. I know for a fact that that's the team I hate the most. But I just want to put this out there for anybody who'd be listening to this, right? I'm a diehard Raiders fan. I grew up. I didn't have a choice. I was forced to be a Raiders fan, and I am a diehard Raiders fan. The team that has been the Raiders' biggest rival since the inception of the franchise in 1960 is the Kansas City Chiefs, right? Since the day that it began. For a long time, the Chiefs won Super Bowl number 2 or 3 or whatever the hell. After that day, in the 60s, the Chiefs were one of the worst teams in the AFC for a long, long time. And I still hated them because we're trained to hate them since the day you were born. I've always hated them. I hate Alex Smith because he was their quarterback. All those guys, right? This team makes me want to throw up, claw my eyes out. Like, I don't even know how to describe it is when I watch, especially on Sunday Night Football with Chris Collinsworth and then play. It actually, I want to claw my eyes out. It's so hard for me to watch. And when they have 0 penalties called against them, it makes me want to throw up. And I hate saying this, but it makes me think the NFL could be rigged because that's just not true. It's impossible. It's impossible.
I think next week, instead of kind of breaking down every single game that's happened, I say we just shit on the Chiefs for 45 straight minutes.
We can make some good content, Sal. We could.
I mean, I'm kind of on the opposite end of it. I used to like the Chiefs. I grew up like pretty close to there. I loved Alex Smith. I loved Jamal Charles.
Oh, nightmares.
So I loved all them, but
Nightmares.
they got Mahomes and Kelsey. I actually liked them at first, but you see them win. You see them get all the calls, and then you start meeting more and more Chiefs fans, and you kind of ask them about football, and they don't even watch on Sundays. And it's like, dude, you don't have a leg to stand on to talk shit about your team when you can't even tell me who's playing receiver for you. Who's your second receiver? They don't know. So that's really what kind of started my hatred for the Kansas City area over there.
But they're great, and they're going to continue to be great, and they're probably going to win the Super Bowl this year. So let's just move on. Okay, we got another Monday Night Football doubleheader. And Sal, correct me if I'm wrong. Is this the most Monday night doubleheaders ever in one season? Every week there's 2 games on Monday night. What's going on?
I don't know, but I absolutely love it.
Me too.
I love a little 7:15 start with an 8:30 backup. I mean, I love it. And it always feels like something weird happens on those doubleheaders. Somebody wins that shouldn't win.
Yeah.
And
it seems like that's been happening a lot.
You could say arguably that was both games last night.
Yeah. And that's been happening a lot in prime time in general. Like these Thursday night games have been interesting. Mondays have been interesting. Sundays have been a kind of hit or miss. But, I mean, a lot of good games in prime time this year. And I hate saying this, but it just keeps me thinking, like, if you really are watching all these games, a call or two makes it in, I don't want to say it. It's an entertainment business. The WWE and the NFL are in the same category. Just saying. You know that, Sal? Did you know that?
I did.
There's sports entertainment, WWE and NFL, but MLB, NBA, and NHL are different. They're classified as different. So I think that's very interesting as we keep seeing the Chiefs make the Super Bowl. Okay, so first game last night was Bills-Falcons. The Bills, I mean, obviously they needed to win. We talked about it earlier. They did not win, and the New England Patriots now in first place in the AFC East. The Falcons really controlled this game from the jump, Sal. Bijan Robinson, absolute beast. Drake London had an unbelievable day. And the Bijan Robinson and Drake London, they can account for the highest percentage of the team's offense of any duo in the NFL.
Yeah, it was awesome to watch. I mean, I despise the Bills. I do like Josh Allen a lot. I think he's unbelievable. He's MVP, but Bijan ran all over them, 170 yards, a touchdown. Drake London, 158 yards, a touchdown. And anytime you want to take Bijan out, just give him a little break. Bring in Algier. He's going to run over your favorite linebacker and your favorite safety and step all over him. So just an absolute dog of a backup. This Falcons team is a little bit scary. It kind of looked like Penix was slinging it. He didn't look great to start the year, but after that Panthers game, he's really started to play some good football.
Sal, you know me, dude. I love me some Michael Penix, dude. I honestly, like I say all the time, you were the person that really got me into college football, but Michael Penix was a part of that too. I loved that Washington team. I think I watched every game they played in his 2 years there.
Dude, so before you even really started watching too much, I want to say maybe we watched it together when he was at Indiana. and beat was it Michigan? No.
Yeah.
It was Penn State.
Oh, Penn State. Yes, it was Penn State. You're
in
right.
like triple overtime.
Yep.
And that was like before anybody knew his name, but Indiana was like top 15 that year.
I remember that. Yeah, I do remember that. And then he had that play where that was the one where he hit the pylon, right?
Yeah. Full dive and overtime to win the game.
That was crazy. Crazy.
He was, I mean, I've always been a big fan of Penix. It sucks that he had to take my boy Kirk O'Chain's spot. I wish they could both start. But yeah, I mean, he's been around for a while. He's going to do his thing. He's going to sling the rock. That's what he's going to do.
I wanted the Raiders to draft him, and I really thought they were going to until out of nowhere, after signing Kirk O'Chain's to $250 million, they drafted him 8th overall, which everybody was shocked by. I was very unhappy watching the draft that day. But yeah, I think Michael Penix can be a guy. I really like Michael Penix. So the second game of the night was Commanders-Bears. And if you guys remember from last year, 50 weeks ago to the day, the Commanders and the Bears played each other on the same field, wearing the same exact jerseys. And the Bears were going to win the game. Game was over. Desperation heave from Jaden Daniels, tipped up by Tyreek Stevenson after he was talking to the fans mid-play. Just a brutal scene for the Bears, and that ended their season, really. They lost 10 games in a row. That started their 10-game losing streak, got Eberflus fired, just ruined everything out there in Chicago. They head back to the scene of the crime, and this year, in a gross, rain-filled game, Caleb and the boys bring them back after blowing a lead to set up Jake Moody for a game-winning field goal, and the Bears win 25-24. Crazy.
This was such a fun game to watch, and you could see the environment going on, how cold it was, how windy, the rain coming down. And Commanders kind of had this game in the bag. It was 22-20, I want to say.
Yeah, it was 24 to
22.
Yeah, 24-16, then it was 24-22, and the Commanders had the ball with like 2.5 minutes left.
Yeah, and that's when Jaden Daniels fumbled the handoff to Krosky Merritt. Bill, and the ball hits, fumble recovery by the Bears, march down the field. This is right after they had a field goal blocked. So you kind of have in the back of your mind, it might get blocked again. And off the leg, it was very low. I thought it was going to get blocked again.
And it veered to the left a little bit. And those Bears kickers, every time a Bears kicker steps up in a big situation, I'm like, oh, he's going to miss. He's going to miss it.
You know, I feel like our teams are always unlucky, but I feel like the Bears are more unlucky than any franchise. I mean, they had the double, triple doink a few years ago. They just can't catch a break. They had the Hail Mary last year against the Commanders, but Caleb and the boys found a way to get this one. Jake Moody, man, what do you have? 4 or 5 field goals in the game winner. So Caro Santos being down for the week, that was a nice signing for him. So, yeah, it was nice to see, man.
That might have saved his career. That might have saved Jake Moody's career. Because, I mean, he had some struggles with San Francisco. They got rid of him, so that might have saved it. And, Sal, I kind of used to think the Raiders were unlucky. Now I just know they're bad.
I would second that for the Fins.
Yeah. And represented on this show, the teal and the black, the 2 longest playoff win droughts in the NFL. So who's going to break it first? We'll just have to wait and see. Maybe forever.
I know we're not going to be talking about, us breaking the drought anytime soon. So maybe 9-10 years when this podcast is really going, we're probably on TV with it. We might see that happen, maybe.
Yeah, when me and Sal are the face of sports media, we'll see. All right, so that's going to do it for us on this one. Sal, you got any more? Anything else to add?
Not too much. I mean, it's like we said in the last podcast, we're going to have our picks coming out on Thursday, so kind of changing it up a little bit this week. I went 6-4 this week. Frank 4-6, so 10-8 overall. Frank's 8-10. So see what can happen this week, and tune in Thursday for our picks. And I think starting next week, the week after, we're going to have some guest pickers on. So
yes, sir.
Hit our line, see if you want to hop on in.
Yes, sir. Make sure you tune in next week. Thursday, we're going to have our picks. Got to get myself over 500. I mean, what are we doing? I'm hot in college, cold in the NFL. Got to get that even out a little bit. So hopefully you enjoyed this one. For Sal Grinstead, I'm Frank Rampin. After week 7, we'll see you then. Peace out.